Alright guys, so looking at our triangles, our triangles are composed of six ends. Three sides and three angles. Alright, so basically what triangles have are sides and angles. So for side, I'm going to use the letter S for side, and for angle, I'm going to use the letter A for angle. So the rules that we're going to learn today are called side, side, side. That's one of them. And the other one's called side, angle, side. We're going to move into triangle congruency. And I know congruent, we talk about it, it means that it's the same. So we're going to talk about if the triangles are the same. So once again, the rules that we're going to talk about today are side, 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 and side, angle, side. Once again, I'm going to abbreviate it as SSS and SAS. But let me take a look, and then just kind of like we did last week, I want to show something, we come up with an idea, and then we formalize it. So I'm going to have a triangle there. Given the measurements of the sides, if I'm going to get a different triangle, so if I grab one of my points and I start moving it, it changes two sides. So if I was to come over and say, we cannot change the measurements of the sizes, so the measurement, the three sides, have to be the size that we have there, can we come up with a different triangle? No. Alright, if we're stuck with the three sides, we cannot come up with a different triangle, so let's formalize this. SSS, or side, 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 our first notes. My bad, I didn't tell you guys everything else. But in general, whenever you guys see something besides a worksheet, we're taking notes. So the first rule, side, 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 is if the three sides of one triangle are equal to the three sides of another triangle, the triangles are congruent. Again, for these 2 weeks, we're going to look at triangle congruency. Some rules do give me congruent triangles, some rules do not. So not always going to be congruent in these 2 weeks, this week and next week. So if the three sides of one triangle are equal to the three sides of another triangle, the triangles are congruent. So the triangles are the same. So once again, side, side, side says that if the three sides of one triangle are equal to the three sides of another triangle, that triangles are congruent. And the way we're going to see that, I'm going to show you guys two triangles. And the way we see that the sides are the same, obviously, with the measurements, I can give you guys the measurements of each so we can compare it. Or I'm just going to mark them the same way. I'm giving you guys two triangles there, and you notice one side from each triangle I did it with one slash, so that means those are equal. The second side I did it with two slashes, and the third one I did it with three slashes. So I'm saying the three sides of one triangle are congruent to the three sides of the other triangle. Right? So that's what we mean. So side, 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 if all three sides are congruent, then the triangles are congruent. The triangles is exactly the same thing. Can I take it off? Yes. Yes, sir. I heard a no, so. Once again, the way we can mark the side, I can give you the measurements, right? The value, or I can just mark it with the one side. Okay? Alright. The other rule we're going to look at is side angle side. But the way we're going to work this one, let me show you guys little by little. First, let me come out with a side of a triangle. Right, you guys see the measurement. Let me come out with the second side of a triangle and the included angle. What I mean with included angle is basically the angle made by those two sides. So that's what I mean with included angle. Because we're talking about triangles, right? If you notice, I have two sides and the angle in between. So because we're talking about triangles, the third side, I can just create it. Right? I'm just going to connect my points B and C because we're dealing with triangles. But in reality, what I'm limiting this to are the two sides and the included angle, right? Once again, the included angle means the angle in between. If I was to not be able to switch the sides, because I could easily come over and say, well, I can make one side bigger to come up with a different triangle. But if I was not allowed to make my sides bigger and not change my angle in between, so you cannot change that angle, can we come up with a different triangle? Yeah, no, maybe. No. So let's formalize it. And yeah, you cannot. Like if you're stuck with those two sides and the angle in between, you cannot come up with a third triangle. So let's formalize this. Side angle side. If two sides and the included angle of one triangle are congruent to two sides and the included angle of another triangle, then these two triangles are congruent. Two sides and the included angle of one triangle are congruent to two sides and the included angle of another triangle, then these two triangles are congruent. Keep in mind I'm saying the included angle, not just any angle, it's the included angle. Two sides and the included angle of one triangle are congruent to two sides and the included angle of another triangle, then these two triangles are congruent. What I mean with that is, let's say I have a picture looking like this. Notice I have two sides and the included angle. Once again, what I mean with included angle is the angle formed by the two sides given. It's not just any angle, it's the one formed by the two sides. Then I'm saying those two triangles are congruent. Right? We cannot come out with a different triangle. Can I take this off? Yes. All right. If you notice, I'm going to need three markers. So, well, let's copy this real quick. The only legal ways we can mark something that is not marked are the following. There's going to be two ways. Rules. So the only legal ways we can mark something that is not marked are the following. Once again, I'm coming out of this because we need three markings. Right? I need either three sides or two sides and the included angle. But three markings of each. The only ways we can mark this, the side, only if it is shared by both triangles. So the only way I can mark a side is only if it is shared by both triangles. An example of that is something like that. Right, there are two triangles and they both use the same side. So that's how I can legally mark a side. Only if it is shared by both triangles. Basically, both triangles use the same side. Because I can say that side from the left triangle is the same size as the length of the side of the right triangle. Right? It's the same side, so I can say the side of one triangle is as big as the side on the other triangle. Right? Legally, right? It's obvious. Because remember, I need three markings per triangle. Now, the way we're going to legally mark an angle, only if the angles are the only legal way we can mark an angle is only if the angles are vertical. And for us to remember what vertical angle looks like, there's two triangles. Keep in mind from each of the three sides, I highlighted two sides, right? From each triangle, I highlighted two sides because I wanted to focus that there's an X form. Remember, vertical angle theorem says there's an X form, opposite angles are congruent. So we can legally mark angles only if they are vertical. So remember, I need three markings. The only way I can mark a side is if both triangles share it. The only way I can mark an angle is that if they're vertical. Those are the only legal way. Can I take this? Can I take that? Yes, sir. Yes. Alright, so let's go to this. Let's take a look at our word. Question number 1. Stated the two triangles are congruent. If they are, state how you know. I can legally mark the third side. I can legally mark this side because both triangles share it. So even though it was not marked, I can legally mark it because both triangles share it. Do I have the same three sides on one triangle as the three sides on the other triangle? Yes. Yes. So they are congruent. So the way we're going to come over and say it, we're just going to use the rule, side, side, side. By giving me the rule side, 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 you're pretty much telling me, yes, they are congruent, and they are congruent because of side, side, side. So this is all I'm looking for, side, side, side. That's pretty much it. Let's take a look at question number 2. I can legally mark an angle there and there, question number 2, because they're vertical. Remember, when there's an X form, opposite angles are congruent, so I can legally mark those two angles, right, one on each. Are those two triangles congruent? And how do you know? Which rule? Side angle side. Good. So this is basically what we're going to do. Remember, you need 3 markings per triangle. Let's take a look at question number 3. Are those triangles congruent? Yes, how do you know? So 3 angles? Is angle, 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 because you notice 3 angles, is angle, angle, angle a rule that we have? So in that case, we're going to say not congruent. Question number 4. Are those two triangles congruent? They are? How do you know which rule? Side angle side. So you're telling me that in this triangle, they're different, right? Okay, so it's good. The discussion is good. Right? The discussion is good. Remember, in order for them to be side angle side, it has to be 2 sides and the included angle on both cases, on both triangles. It's not congruent. If you notice, I don't have the same markings on both triangles. Remember, I kept on emphasizing it has to be the included angle, which is the angle formed by the 2 sides. So for number 4, the included angle needed to be downward. It's the angle formed by the 2 sides that I have marked. Right? It's not any side, it's the included angle. So that's why number 4 is not congruent. Alright, let's take a look at number 5. I can legally mark that side because they both share it. So I can legally mark the side. Is number 5 congruent? No. Right, I only have 2 markings per triangle. Remember, you need 3. There's only 2 on each, so not congruent. You need 3 markings on each. Either 3 sides or 2 sides in the included angle. So far. Right, we're going to include more rules later, but for right now we only have those 2. Looking at number 6, are those 2 triangles congruent? How do you know? Side angle side. Perfect. Side angle side, and the second side from each is the one that they both share, right? We can legally mark that side. So we have 3 markings on each triangle, and they are both the same. 2 sides and the included angle. All right, so that's not that bad. We're actually going to have 6 rules. Total, there's 6 rules. This week, we're only going to look at 4. Right? This Friday, we have a party. Don't forget to bring stuff on Friday. There's no party on Friday.
There's no party on Fridays.
Oh, I got you guys. Yeah.
But what about number 10? Because that has 2 different angles, like measured angles, but it has 2 sides also.
All right, so if you got looking at number 10, I'm looking at this bottom triangle. Is that angle the included angle? Nope. So it's not congruent. Remember, it has to be the included angle, which is the angle formed by the 2 sides that you have marked. Not any angle, is that the one between the 2 sides. Osio, you had a question?
Number 7.
7. Let's take a look at number 7. We can legally mark these 2 angles because they're vertical. You can legally mark those angles. So are these 2 triangles congruent? How do you know? Side angle side. All right. Any questions? Let me take.